as we ingest from the many facets of life, consuming what it throws at us, let's indulge rather cautiously, because your health is a great investment. So whether it's the food we take in, how much work your body endures, or the COVID-19 vaccine that you're being encouraged to take, maintaining good health should be your primary focus. And if you stick with Jamaica Magazine in your daily routine, you'll get much more fuel for that good health maintenance. Hello everyone, I'm Theodore Henry. Welcome to today's Jamaica Magazine.
The Forestry Department is leading the implementation of the National Tree Planting Initiative, which seeks to plant 3 million trees in 3 years, one for each Jamaican plus a little extra for good measure. So I'm inviting each Jamaican to visit our nurseries across the island and collect your tree seedling and make your mark towards this great goal for Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, March 17. Periodic audits of the island's COVID-19 implementation program have uncovered 3 incidents of missing or damaged AstraZeneca vaccines. The built-in audit component of the program resulted in the launch of an investigation into Tuesday's revelation that a vial with 10 doses of vaccine had gone missing. The incident occurred at a vaccination site at the Cornwall Regional Hospital in St. James. The vial was discovered to be missing after standard checks were carried out during the vaccination process. A review of CCTV footage as well as the policies and procedures at the site will be conducted. As part of the investigation, several Western Regional Health Authority staff members who were assigned to the vaccination site have been reassigned pending the outcome of the probe. And the Ministry of Health and Wellness is also reviewing other instances where vaccines have been damaged. That includes 6 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines, which accidentally fell from the hand of a worker employed to the Lucy Health Center. Another 8 doses fell and broke from a cold storage container that was on a table which collapsed at a vaccination site in Westmoreland.
The vaccine plan does include an audit because we want to track where the vaccines go, how much of it is wasted, and of course that the right people get it. And the institution, in terms of throughput, are efficient, what changes to make, and so on. So an audit is not necessarily intended to determine who is deviant. It's also a management tool utilized to assess the efficiency of delivery and to adjust where necessary.
Parliamentarians and senior government officials 60 years and older have begun receiving their COVID-19 vaccine. The process began on Tuesday at the Office of the Prime Minister and involved cabinet ministers as well as other senior government officials. Among the persons to be inoculated were Ministers Audley Shaw and Everald Warmington, as well as Member of Parliament Mike Henry. The Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Richard Biles, and Chief of State Protocol Ambassador Sandra Grant Griffiths also received their first of 2 jabs. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said the move to vaccinate public officials in the vulnerable age group is critical due to the high level of physical interaction required by their portfolio.
We need our leaders at the level of the communities to provide leadership without the risk of exposure to the virus. And they represent, by virtue of age, also a vulnerable group.
The government has inked an agreement with the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, for the deployment of a vaccination management system software. A registration and scheduling model is also a part of the software, which will become operational in April. At Tuesday's signing ceremony, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said the platform will make registering for vaccines seamless. Persons will be able to make appointments on the websites of the Ministry of Health and Wellness and regional health authorities, or call 888-1-LOVE.
Many persons have been asking about this, and we have mentioned it. You'll hear more about it in the days to come, and you will see the manifestations of it in terms of the efficiency of transaction time and cost.
With sufficient capacity and resources, and supported by the vaccine rollout, UNICEF is confident that life can start to return to normal for people in Jamaica, and especially for Jamaican children.
As part of its $11 million support to the program, the private sector vaccination initiative handed over 400 tablet computers and other electronic devices that will be used at vaccination sites across the island.
The system will be installed on the devices prior to delivery. And the initiative will also facilitate the training of personnel on the use of the platform.
14,650 persons, or 84% of the priority group targeted for Week 1 of the island's vaccination program, have received their doses. The figure, which covers the period March 10 to 15, was revealed by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dunstan Bryan. Mr. Bryan was speaking during Tuesday's Joint Select Committee on the COVID-19 pandemic in Gordon House. He said of the 14,650 persons vaccinated, 9,781 were healthcare workers. The elderly numbered 1,346, while the remaining 3,523 persons were members of the security forces.
It's 30% of the target for month 1, and we have vaccinated 1% of the target for year 1, which is 65% of the population. When we look at the planned versus actual, we are recognizing that overall we are averaging at about 84% of the planned versus actual. So we are seeing on some days we are ahead of target, and on other days we are at target.
Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Aubin Hill, is urging Jamaicans to assist government in conserving our potable water supply. His plea follows yesterday's global observation of World Water Day, which is observed annually to advocate for the sustainable management of freshwater resources. The minister, while speaking at the World Water Day Virtual Forum Tuesday, said government continues to be actively engaged in formulating strategies to protect and expand the availability of the country's potable water supply.
The government of Jamaica is working hard to increase water access. I urge you all to play your part and be water smart by using only what you need, conserving when you can, and assist the government to protect and preserve our precious water resources.
Senator Hill also says government is moving ahead with its national water sector policy and implementation plan, which will ensure that all Jamaicans have access to potable water by 2030. And finally, Jamaicans have until March 31 to register for the next voters list, which is to be published on May 31. Persons intending to have their name added to the voters list must apply in person at any electoral office of Jamaica constituency office. Individuals who register after March 31 will be added to the November 30 list. Electors who meet the March 31 deadline should expect to receive the newly designed voter identification card by mid-June. To register for a voter ID, applicants will be asked to fill out a form as well as have their photograph and fingerprints taken. Each applicant's residence must be verified to complete the registration process. Persons who are already on the voters list should not reapply. However, if there's been a change of residence, electors are asked to visit the constituency office in the current location to have their registration transferred. Visitors to the Electoral Office of Jamaica offices are required to wear a mask, sanitize upon entering the office, and observe physical distancing in line with the state's COVID-19 protocols. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Here's the first dose of benefit that you'll be feeding on today, incorporating more seafood into your diet. This is one of the healthiest options, providing you with a range of benefits that I can't even begin to explain. So that's why you're going to hear from an expert nutritionist.
We all love our protein: chicken, beef, pork. But how often do we eat fish? Is it only at Easter time or when you're at the beach? Incorporating more fish into your diet can be very beneficial to your health. Compared to red meats and poultry, fish has far less calories and cholesterol.
It's the saturated fats and the trans fats that our bodies use to make cholesterol. And fish and seafood have very little saturated fat and trans fat. So in truth and in fact, that makes it a very healthy source of protein.
Fish also has iron, which is important for good reasoning and memory, iodine, which can prevent mental problems in children, and selenium, vitamins, and carotenoids, which are antioxidants. Who knew that we could get so many nutrients from fish? And that's not all. Incorporating fish into our diet can even reduce the chances of developing certain diseases.
Studies have in fact shown that people who have a higher intake of fish compared to other meat sources have less heart disease, they suffer from fewer mood disorders, and they have less cognitive decline with age, so less dementia.
This is due to omega-3 fatty acids, a nutrient that is only found in a few other food sources, such as walnuts and flax seeds. But oily fish, such as sardines, tuna, mackerel, salmon, and trout, are excellent sources of omega-3s and are readily available at your convenience in supermarkets. So we want to add fish into our diet. In what ways can we do this?
So escovitch fish is one of our favorites. Now the onions and the carrots and the vinegar and the pimento, that's all fine. But we don't want to do a lot of deep frying. Deep frying adds calories. Nothing like a nice steamed fish, a nice roast fish. And when you roast your fish, you can stuff it with wonderful vegetables like callaloo and so on. So we have to find other ways. Many of us have broilers as a part of our stove and we've never utilized it. We don't know how it's used. And that gives us, I think, the closest taste to fried without adding a lot of oil.
So we've got different styles of cooking the fish, but what about flavor? Jamaicans love adding salt, but fish is already salty. Wouldn't that be too much sodium?
If we utilize other things like lime and lemon juice and or fresh seasonings or scotch bonnet pepper or onions or scallion, we can make our fish flavorful without adding a lot of extra sodium.
That sounds really tasty, but watch out for bones. Make sure to debone fish before giving your children. Even if the fish is bought deboned, check for fine bones with your fingers. If you're not careful, you could end up with a medical emergency. The recommended serving size per week is only 8 to 9 ounces of fish, or 2 to 3 servings per week. With an array of health benefits and a variety of ways to cook it, don't miss out on this lifestyle choice. Make a positive impact on your health by adding more fish to your diet.
If you're keen on learning how to prepare your own meals with your own set of specifications, you could start by incorporating a bit of heart. Here's the Heart Trust providing you with just the right avenue to achieve mastery in the kitchen.
Tourism and agriculture have been like Siamese twins from day one. 88% of the world travels for food experiences. And that 42% of the expenditure of all the visitors over the world is on food.
It's for reasons such as this that the Ebony Park Art Academy has been invested in producing top-class chefs and entrepreneurs to fill industry demands.
What Heart is doing for students is that we are empowering our students. We want them to not just get a skill, but get the skill and make it useful. Open up their own business, have an entrepreneurship mind where you don't normally just have to work for people. We want to target everybody, those that are not doing anything, those that are at home not doing anything, those that feel like, boy, I'm too old and I really can't go back to school. We are for everybody. I want to target everybody in Jamaica because we want to empower our nation. And this is where it starts. We offer a wide variety of hospitality courses such as commercial food preparation level 2, food and beverage service level 3. So, but for this one now that we are focusing on today is the commercial food preparation level 2, where they learn a variety of things. They learn from pastries and to savory cooking. We actually have our own farm where we produce most of the items that we use. The pepper, we have our agro-processing units that gather the food and they process it and bottle it, and we use those products. So we don't normally buy a lot of produce out there on the street because we have our own processing unit, our own farm, our own crops, produce, everything.
Meet Amaria Bryan, a commercial food preparation student at the Ebony Park Arts Academy. At the 67th staging of the Denby Agricultural Industrial Food Show, Amaria showed off what Hart is teaching him with a scrumptious meal of chicken pasta stir-fry.
I do on-the-job training. So basically for a year, I work at the Ebony Park training restaurant meanwhile I am training. So there are days when I have to go in the kitchen to cook for people who are buying food at the restaurant. And we have to do this to to attain our grade. And based off our performance, we are graded, and then based off that, we get our certificate. What we did, we add a little twist to it and add an Alfredo sauce. So we basically just build a new recipe on spot, and we just call it chicken Alfredo. And in this, we have sweet pepper of different colors. We have ginger, we have salt, we have a little pinch of salt. We have basically what we was aiming for, we wanted to go natural, so we had no powder seasons. And we had two different types of cheese. We have mozzarella, which give it the body, and we had pepper jack cheese, which give it the flavor and give it a little spiciness. And we had sweet corns, we had blanched carrots, yes, and we have a little clove to give it a little kick. And basically, those are the main ingredients in the pasta. And we just add a little bit of brandy to bring out the flavor in the chicken breast and to basically give it the flambe, the fire effect. That's what we did. And this dish can be prepared in about 5 to 7 minutes. Basically, I have to give the chicken breast time to cook, and the chicken breast cook very quickly. I just recently completed level 2, and I'm actually doing voluntary service here at Denby. And what I plan to do, I plan to do level 3. That's the supervisory level, chef de partie, under the same commercial food preparation. And after I finish that, I plan to work in the hotel, get some experience, but my ultimate goal is to work on the cruise ship and then in the Burj Khalifa at Dubai. Hart has created basically what we call a workforce database where they invest in their trainees, and then they produce them out into the workforce, and they basically have a lot of jobs waiting for us. So once a lot of hotels here at Ebony Park, then they want to take us. Some of them don't even want to interview you. They just want to know you're coming from Ebony Park, and then they just grab it because they know Ebony Park produces the best trainees, the best chefs they can find in Jamaica and on the cruise ship.
Students have worked in our major hotels in Jamaica. Even though I have students at the Rio Hotel, I have students at Sandals, I have students at Hilton. They're all over the place. I have students who are overseas now, who are in the hospitality area, and most of them are chefs. That's what they do, that's what they love, so they just go there. The sky's the limit for them, and they just want to do more, they want to learn more. So even though we teach them here, they always have a passion to know more about this foods, because it's so wide, it's so fun. I don't even know what to tell you, but it's a whole lot in one little package that you can get so much from.
If you want to grab your piece of the pie, but you're scared because you have no certifications in the subject area, don't worry. A mathematics and English entry test are available to process your application. So ask yourself this: what exactly is stopping you from starting your journey?
I'm Dion Jennings, Chief Technical Director assigned to the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. When we protect, promote, and secure the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities, we move closer to realizing Jamaica's Vision 2030 goals that of fostering inclusion, independence, access, and full participation of persons with disabilities in all spheres of national development. The Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, under the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, is charged with the responsibility for implementing policies and programs for persons with disabilities. The JCPD, through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, will continue to provide support to persons with disabilities to access assistive aids and adaptive devices to enable their independence in their everyday life.
What is a hearing aid?
A hearing aid is a small electronic device that someone who has a hearing loss uses.
Are there different types of hearing aids?
There are different types of hearing aids, and usually they are associated with the type of hearing loss that you have. The behind the ear can be used by anyone who has any levels of hearing loss, from a mild to a profound level. Then you have a receiver in the canal hearing aid, basically for persons with a mild to moderately severe hearing loss. They may have a bud, and if you have a greater loss, then a custom-made mold is attached to the RIC hearing aid, which is a receiver in the canal. Then you have an in-the-ear hearing aid, again, that is used by persons who have a mild to a profound hearing loss. Then you have in-the-canal hearing aid. That is used by persons, again, who have a mild to a moderately severe hearing level. The last hearing aid that we have is called the completely in the canal, and that is used for persons with a mild to moderately severe hearing loss.
Tips to care for hearing aids.
There are different types of hearing aid, and all of them are taken care of the same way, in the sense that they all use a battery, and you're not to use any liquid on the hearing aids. So there is a brush that normally comes with the product that you will clean off any wax or any moisture using a piece of tissue or a soft rag, and you take out the wax out of the openings of the hearing aid. So this is an in-the-ear hearing aid, and so this is taken care of by putting in the battery here, and then you remove it, leave the battery door open, put down in the case, and then if you have a behind-the-ear hearing aid, it's basically the same way. You have the battery door, and you remove the battery, you have the brush, you clean around the tips of the hearing aid, and you clean by the opening of the hearing aid, and you do not use any cleaning agent on the hearing aids. Also, at the tip of the hearing aid, you may have what is called a hair clear, and that is replaced whenever it is blocked with wax. So you put that on the tip of the hearing aid, and you insert it on the opening of the hearing aid so that it protects the hearing aid from excessive wax getting into the instrument itself. And then you remove this and you discard this as well. And that is basically all you have to do to take care of your hearing aids. Do not swallow the battery for the children. Do not leave it out for the animals to come and play with them. And you open the drawer, put it in its case, leave it open so that if there's any moisture in the hearing aid, it can evaporate. So parents, guard the hearing aid, protect them from any excessive moisture. So no cleaning of alcohol, no cleaning agent, no bleach or anything like that. Just when you remove it from your ears, like this, you take it out, you open the battery drawer, remove the battery, and you put it down in the case. And basically that's all you have to do to take care of the hearing aid that you have.
Where can I get information or help?
More information and help is available at the Jamaica Association for the Deaf, located 9 Morisco Road with entrance on Caledonia Lane in the Kingston 5 area.
What is a wheelchair?
A wheelchair is a chair with wheels used when walking is difficult or impossible due to illness, old age, or disability.
Are there different types of wheelchairs?
Yes, there are different types of wheelchair. Actually, you have 3 types: standing wheelchair, electrical wheelchair, and manual wheelchair.
Tips to care for wheelchairs.
Some tips for caring for the wheelchair are: 1. To remove all dust from the wheelchair frame by using a damp cloth. 2. Check the tires to ensure that they are still hard. Use a bicycle pump to add air if necessary.
A production of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Our daily routine can often take away from opportunities for self-care. But by taking some time to engage in self-care, you may relieve the pressures of everyday life and reset yourself to get back to that healthy point. That's where we come in, and we're going to give you a few self-care tips. Number 1, emotional self-care. In addressing your emotional health, give yourself the space to talk to someone, reflect, journal, read, listen to music, cry it out or laugh it out, or even watch something that suits the mood. Number 2, intellectual self-care. Now, this can simply include reading or listening to audiobooks, watching documentaries, doing puzzles, becoming mindful of the world around you, or trying new things, just something to tease the brain. Number 3, occupational self-care. Now, here you're building yourself as a professional. So how about learning a trade, getting your degree, or putting together your resume and apply for your dream job? Or take on a task you enjoy, maybe even open your own business. Number 4, physical self-care. When taking care of your body, include some amount of workout in your day. It could simply be a walk. Eat healthy, get your yearly checkup, take medications as prescribed, and visit a doctor if you're not feeling well. And number 5, spiritual self-care. In caring for your spiritual self, you could consider meditation and prayer. How about reflecting, doing some yoga, or simply doing right by others and helping those in need? Each of our plans will look different, and there's always work to be done to ensure proper self-care. But a healthy mind and body are key for a healthy nation. It's this health that will help to move Jamaica to the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. The show stops here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we know you can never have enough of Jamaica Magazine, so as we work on tomorrow's show, watch some past ones on our YouTube channel. And do stop by the JIS's website at www.jis.gov.jm and follow us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Before we leave, we encourage you to cultivate a habit of good health. From all of us here, I'm Theodore Henry. See you real soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.